What's next? Well, we've got our plans we've been working on for about 18 months. I'm sure the Biata blokes here would like to know those, but I ain't going to tell you. And I'm sure they've got their plans. But there will be another trigger which will give us another spurt of growth to take us forward. Tim asked me to talk about the economic health of the chicken meat industry. Well, we'll take a hat around before you leave because it is in dire straits at the moment. There is a gross oversupply of chicken in the marketplace. I was around talking to a medium-sized processor here in Sydney earlier this week. We supply all of his feed, and he wanted to talk to me about extending credit terms. He said, "Kevin," is a European extraction, "it cost me $2.15 to get a live bird on my grower's farm. I have to pick it up, I have to take it to the factory, I have to gut it, I have to pack it, I have to distribute it, and I'm only getting $2 a kilo for it. Kevin, I cannot carry on like this." And that, unfortunately, is the truth of the matter. I've never seen such a prolonged price war in my 40-odd years in the industry. So, at this stage, the industry is not in very good shape. But that's fairly cyclical, because every processor has all those birds backed up out there. You've got at least 8 weeks supply of birds growing out in the field. You've got 3 weeks of eggs in the hatchery. You've got all those parents out there pumping out more eggs, and you just can't turn the tap on and off. So we tend to go from this period of gross oversupply to shortage of supply. In New Zealand at this point in time, we're in that beautiful position where the whole of the industry, the whole 4 processors, are short of stock. So we're going for a significant price increase, and there's nothing much our competitors, our customers can do about it. But here at the moment, it is a dog-eat-dog market. When I reflect back about the industry, when the Australian Poultry Industries Association was formed in 1968, around the table sat 9 representatives of 9 companies, all integrated companies. By integrated, that means right through from milling, breeders, hatchery, grow out, processing, and so on. All but one of those 9 companies was a division of a public company. Our company, Provincial Traders, such names that have gone now, Allied Mills still around, they were there, Marrickville Margarines Company, British Tobacco. Only one company was not a public company, and that was Inghams Enterprises. Even Steggles, even though not very active on the marketplace, was a public company. All of those public companies have been absorbed into 2 companies now, Biata and Inghams Enterprises. Underneath Biata and Inghams, you have Cherry Foods down in Victoria, a medium-sized operator. Then you've got 6 other processors who each operate at about 350 to 500,000 birds a week processed. That's the structure at the moment. I forecast that there will be further consolidation of the industry, because as customers get bigger, they don't want to deal with smaller operators. As customers get bigger, they demand more sophisticated products, which requires more sophisticated equipment. And so they'll get squeezed out, and somebody will come along and aggregate them into a bigger business that can be more competitive. To give you an indication of the sort of money you've got to spend, In the last 10 years, we've invested $1 billion, Inghams Enterprises, in capital expenditure. Now, a bit of that was for a factory of ours that burnt down in Melbourne 2 years ago, but it's a very capital-intensive business. And we're at the stage in business where equipment doesn't get a chance to work through its economic life. It becomes technically outdated, and you have to replace it with something more sophisticated to meet the increasing demands of what customers want in the products, the very precise products that they want from you. So it's a tough game, and I see further contraction in the number of suppliers out there in the marketplace. Key issues impacting on the industry. How am I going, Tim?
Better leave us some time for questions, but keep going.
Key issues impacting on the industry, obviously pricing, I've already mentioned that. Labour. Every day our factories all over Australia open up with about 10 to 15% short of the manning requirements. And I know that's a common cry across many industries, particularly now that the mining industries are draining skilled labour. I'll leave that at that. Supermarket power, well, isn't that a bloody time bomb he threw in on me? He wants me to commit suicide, but I'm going to bend around that. If you want to know, the best article I've ever written about the supermarket power was in last Monday's Sydney Morning Herald, an article by Adele Ferguson. I commend it to you if you want to read what I think is the best assessment of the problems that are out there in the industry with the growth and the power of Woolworths and Coles in particular. It hurts us all. None of us have had price increases out of either of them for several years. Our costs keep going up, but we've got no relief in terms of pricing. Where it will end, I'm not too sure, but I do have confidence in the powers of the ACCC, and as the federal government said a few weeks ago, if Rod Sims of the ACCC says that his powers are inadequate, they'll give him more authority. But my gut feeling is that the supermarkets, I know that they've both been down in Canberra lobbying seriously. I think they realise that they've pushed it as far as they can. There may not be a lessening of pain on suppliers, but I don't think it'll get any worse. Activist campaign. Well, fortunately, the focus is not on the chicken meat industry, the poor old layer industry with their cages. About the only reference that we get is we make 10 chooks stand on an A3 or an A4 sheet of paper. We can live with that. Our company policy is that we try to engage with the moderates, such as Voiceless, and avoid the extremists like PETA and Animal Liberation Australia. There's no question that they are around, Voiceless. One of the thrusts that I'm watching is that they're looking to lobby for the introduction of legislation to protect the rights of animals. And that could be worrying, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I think I have gone over my time, Tim, so I'll leave it there. Thank you, everyone. And